Hey friends, I want to tell you one thing before we do our next activity today, and I want you to notice that I have put on my jacket. That's because it's very cold in this room. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you that before school starts. Whenever you come to school, bring a jacket because that air conditioner vent blows and it makes us cold. So I just thought I would tell you that before I got started today. And I also wanted to talk to you about the video that you just watched. You just watched a video of Brown Bear, and it was a song, so it was kind of fun and a little bit different from the one you watched yesterday. But what we're going to do today is one of Miss Kelly's very favorite things to do, because it helps you learn so many things, and it's called a cut up sentence. I've got my scissors in my hand because in just a minute I'm going to cut this sentence. Now, when we talked about the word I told you that I could be a word and it could be a letter. When I talk about the letters of the alphabet, I'm talking about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are letters. Well, when we put letters together, they make words. Like right here, S, E, E has 3 letters in it. It makes a word. Well, then when we put words together, like this right here, it makes what we call a sentence. And there are many, many things that you need to know about a sentence. The first thing you need to know is that just like your name, a sentence gets 1 capital letter. The very first one is capital. All of the rest are lowercase. The second thing I want you to notice about a sentence is that it has a little dot at the back of it, and this dot is called a period. So first rule about a sentence is a capital letter goes first. The second rule is a period goes last. Now the third thing I want you to see about a sentence is it has some spaces in here. And I'm going to take my 2 fingers just like this, and I'm going to put them right there. And that's what we call a finger space. So we're going to write a word and we're going to put a finger space. We're going to write a word and put a finger space. Write a word, finger space, write a word, finger space. Now, we're not ready to write sentences yet. We will be very soon. But what we want to do with a sentence that we have right here is we want to cut it. And when we cut it, we're always going to cut it on the finger spaces. Now, before we cut it, let's look at some things about this sentence and let's see if we can figure out what it says. This is a sentence from your story, Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And when I first look at a sentence, I want to look and I want to see if there's anything that I already know. Well, I see something that I already know, and I hope you do too. I see the word I, and I'm going to circle it right here. I. Now that's a sight word that we learned when we read I See Colors. And it's in this sentence too. So what I'm going to do, what we do sometimes in kindergarten is when we see a sight word, we color it yellow. Sight words make us think of the color yellow. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to color I yellow because it's a sight word, and that'll just help me remember that I is a sight word and it's a word that I already know. Now I see one more sight word that I know. And I learned it when I read I See Colors, and it's the word see. Not the letter C, but the word see. And I'm going to circle it right here. This is the word see. And I'm going to color it yellow because it's a sight word. See. All right. Now, the next word is a word that you might know. Miss Kelly hasn't taught it to you yet, but you might know because it's also one of those words that can be a letter of the alphabet. So it's the word A. Now I'm going to go ahead and circle A too because A is a sight word and it's one that you probably already know. So I'm trying to circle things that you might already know. So I'm going to circle I, C, and A. Now, the next word right here, this is a color word because we're learning about colors in Brown Bear, Brown Bear. So what I'm going to do to figure out what color it is I'm going to look at the first letter of the word. And the first letter is R. And I know that R says R. So I'm going to think in my mind about a color that starts like R. And I know that red begins with that sound. So I'm going to circle the color word red. And I'm not going to color it yellow because it's not a sight word, but I am going to color it the color red, just so I can remember that R-E-D spells red. So I'm going to color this one red. And while I'm coloring this word red, I want you to think about the story, Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And in the story it says, Brown Bear, what do you see? I see a red. What do you think this word might be? Can you remember from the story? It starts with a B, which says B. I see a red bird. So read this sentence with me. Now we've figured out what the words are and we can read the sentence. I'm going to touch and you read with me. I see a red bird. And bird is my last word, so it has a period after it. Now, I want you to watch what I'm going to do with this sentence. I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to cut it on the finger spaces. We're never going to cut right in the middle of a word. We're going to cut on the finger spaces. So let's watch me do that right now. I'm going to cut, 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 cut. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sentence and I'm going to mix it all up. It's not going to be in the right order. And remember that I told you that order does matter, but this one is going to be mixed up. All right, now when we get ready to put this sentence back together, and I'm just going to use some tape, I'm going to see if I can get this sentence back in the right order. And we're going to do that by thinking about the three things that I told you about sentences. I told you that sentences begin with a capital letter. That means the first letter is capital. So I want you to look at all of these words and which word do you see that is capital, which means big? Are you looking at I? This is the capital letter, so it has to go first. So I'm going to take I and I'm going to put it right over here on the edge. It has to go first. Now, when I get ready to see which word goes next, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to think about, what did my sentence say? Well, my sentence said, I see a red bird. So I'm going to touch this and I'm going to read it to see what comes next. All right, watch me. I see. C is going to come next. Not the letter, but the word. So think in your brain, what does C look like? And let's look down here and see if we can find it. Are you thinking about S-E-E? See if you can find it. There it is. Now, I'm going to add the word see to my sentence, but I have got to remember that I'm going to use a finger space. So I told you that we were going to write a word and then we were going to use a finger space. So I'm going to put my fingers down and I'm going to tape C next, just like this. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to read it again. I'm going to think about I see a red bird and I'm going to go up here and read. I see a. What word goes next? A. Well, that's one that we circled that we know. So we're going to take A and we're going to put it next. But don't forget about those finger spaces. I'm going to put 2 fingers down and put A next. All right, let's keep watching. I see a red. Can you find the word red? Which one is red? Well, we colored it red so that we could remember it. So I'm gonna pick up red. I'm gonna put a finger space, really 2 of them. We like to use 2 fingers because 5-year-old fingers are not very big. So we want to use 2 finger spaces, and now we have red next. Let's think about our sentence. I see a red bird. Well, there's only 1 word left. The way that I know that this is the last word is because the last word has to have a period. Do you see that period right there? That means it's the last word. So I'm going to take bird. I'm going to put 2 fingers down, and bird goes next. Now we've got our sentence back in order, and we can go back to the beginning and we can read the whole thing. Now remember, when my finger touches I, my mouth says I. When my finger touches C, my mouth says C. What is my mouth going to say when I touch this word? Red. Very good. All right, let's go back. I see a red bird. All right, boys and girls, this is something that can help you so much when you get ready to learn to write sentences. Is first we have to be able to put them back together in order, and this is called a cut up sentence. You did a great job with me today, and we're going to try this again tomorrow with another character from the story. So let's think of one of your favorite characters from Brown Bear, and we'll make a sentence about that character tomorrow. Bye guys, see you next time.